Damn it. Hey, everybody. I am JP Leonard.
I'm Tyler Arceneaux.
And we are dying down here.
Still dying, still trying.
It's also the name of the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
This episode's going to be a good one because we got some good stories, and we got freaking Sam Tallent and Nathan Lund on this episode.
Samuel Tallentson and Nathaniel Lund Markman. Lundmarkman. That's a good one. Markman?
Lund Mark Norman.
There's no... I love it.
Roll the intro. And we are back like a dorsal fin.
Yeah, whoa.
That's my new one.
A bent
I'm gonna
dorsal
use it.
fin.
Yeah, because on the back of a
'Cause-
shark. All right.
Yeah, scoliosis.
What's been up, Tyler?
Oh, dude, you already know.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that I have to talk about, you and I did together.
That's true. Not everything, but we had a epic 2 weeks there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you want
Some fun.
Start us off?
Mobile.
Mobile. Mobile.
That was first. Yeah.
Yeah, mobile.
Yes.
If you live in a
Yeah.
trailer.
Shout out to some
Oysters-
new producers
yeah.
on that scene.
Oyster City Brewing.
Yeah, awesome venue.
Killer. Great location.
Yeah.
Everything.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool drinks
Very cool drinks.
that they brew there.
Yeah, they got
It's
the beer.
a brewery.
Yeah, beer.
That's what
they beer
breweries are.
It's beer drinks, but go ahead. That's fine.
Beer drinks. It is beer drinks. They made me a seltzer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I don't like beer drinks. I'm not a beer drinky guy.
Drinky poo. Daddy had a few of them. That's me. Daddy.
Yeah.
Where did we go after that?
The beer garden.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
I was like, wait, we drove back? No, it's closed.
Yeah.
No, we went to the beer garden in Mobile, and yeah, that was fun. Hung out with a bunch of comics.
Yeah,
and,
they were great, man. Shout out to Mikey Werner, the producer and host of the show. Starting some cool stuff up. New venue. Very cool. Got to see some old friends.
Yeah,
Zeke
yeah.
and Carson.
Carson, yeah.
Shout out to them, man.
Yeah. And,
Alabama strong.
had some food, and
That was my first time in Alabama doing comedy ever.
That's
in
crazy.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be back next month.
Nice. Yeah, it was fun, man. Good time. And then we had a week of anticipation, and then we did a weekend with Mark Normand.
Dude, that was incredible.
2 little small shows.
Yeah.
First one was the Baton Rouge Raising Cane's River Center Theater.
That's right.
Very tiny show, only a couple thousand people.
Couple dozen hundred.
Couple dozen hundred. That was, man. Okay, I've been in there. I've seen Nate Bargatze on that stage.
Wow.
I've seen bands on that stage.
Wow.
I've never seen me on that stage. I still didn't see me because I was
I
performing.
saw you on that stage.
What
You look skinny.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So we had a little fiasco. So Mark was supposed to fly into Baton Rouge. I get a text. We were about ready to meet up and roll from Lafayette.
It was minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
30
get a
minutes or
text.
so.
Plane's delayed. Like, oh no. What time are you going to get in? And it was like 6:30. Landed in Baton Rouge without delays.
Yeah, show at 7.
Yeah, it would have worked out.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm checking New Orleans. And I was like, look, we're still here in Lafayette. Check Lafayette. He's like, you're a genius. He checked it. Flight coming in. So we picked him up 4-ish, 4:20, 4:30. Got on the road.
I'll say this. There were people yelling and screaming at Mark as he was walking through the airport, which is like
the Lafayette airport.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever, not that he's like super famous, but famous enough to where almost every time we were together, people recognized him.
Yeah,
that had nothing to that weren't at the show or going to his show, but they knew who he was.
No one yelled at us. That's fine. They're like, excuse me, can I get out the way? We can't see
your
Mark
bodyguard and your driver.
Yeah. Your Jelly Roll stunt double.
Can you take this picture, sir? That's what I got.
Oh, God. So anyway, we picked him up Lafayette, drove to Baton Rouge, got to the hotel, luckily in time, had time to go in and chill. Beautiful hotel. Then we walked down to the venue, and Mark had parents there, cousins, uncles, you name it there. Did the show. It was great. Great.
Yeah,
Great
I
show.
really felt like the show was really banger.
So good.
Yeah, and it like, I was like, surely that was probably as good as comedy could get.
Almost. So before we get to the next show, after that, Mark had to hang out with his family, so we went to our favorite steak place called Stroob's or Straub's. I don't know. Call in.
Well, yeah, we should figure that out next time.
Yeah.
Next time we're there, we'll get it.
Right on 3rd Street.
Excellent.
And my favorite steak with the Oscar topping. We had a smoked old fashioned. If you go there, order the small Caesar salad, because if you don't, they will bring you a ficus tree, and then you have to eat that. Bring a couple rabbits. I don't know how it works.
Definitely bring friends.
Yeah. We ate that, and then we went to this little bougie bar hotel thing that I was there with another comic, and then we walked in, and I was like, man, the bar is full. We can't sit. Looking at tables, looking for a waitress, and then this very attractive chick is motioning us like here, and I'm like, you're not talking to us. And then the dude turns around, and they're both us, and I was like, I'm looking around, and like they wanted to talk to us, and like we were at the show. It was great. And then it exploded, and then we had drinks from them, and drinks from those drunk people, and drinks from them, and then Mark wasn't even there yet, and then Mark shows up, and then it was pandemonium. So we had numerous drinks.
Wild.
I didn't pay for a single drink, and then we walked to the.
I don't think I paid for a drink all weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Except for the one at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's true. Most reasonably priced drink.
Yeah, it really was.
Then we go to another bar. Upstairs, cool little hip, weird blue lights,
What was that
special
place
drink.
called?
Couldn't tell you. It's the old Blue John
I just
Thibodeau's.
completely forgot.
And their drinks were
The second level.
yes,
The top floor.
top floor drink club.
That's got to be close.
Yeah, it should be. I'll look it up because I had the specialty drink number 5, and I don't know what was in it, but it was amazing. Had a couple of those.
Dang.
And then it was more debauchery, and we ended up on the patio, more drinking and everything, and then we called it quits, and then went back, crashed, and the next morning hurt. We're all hungover. Then we had to get in the car and drive to Pensacola. I thought Mark was going to die.
Yeah, he was struggling.
I've never seen anyone in a stand-in fetal position. I don't know how that works.
He said there was a touch and go for a while. He was
I was like, please don't
feeling
puke in my car.
queasy. Yeah.
We ended up at this.
Well, we have fun, though. We workshop bits. We talk comedy. I mean,
told stories
Mark's
about
so cool and down to
comedians
earth.
people
Yeah.
hate.
I
And
love
then
that.
we found this crazy little food restaurant that when we pulled up, we were like, we're either getting stabbed or salmonella, and it was great.
Oh, it was. I told y'all I had a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
It was because when I saw the type of people that were going in and out of there, just real salt of the earth.
Every race and creed, by the way.
Yeah. Just like salt of the earth.
The shrimp was salty, but go ahead.
You know, Mississippi mud type of people.
We were in
I was like,
Alabama.
this is a local favorite.
Yeah.
We're
We're outside of Mobile, Alabama. All right.
I was hungover. So.
Yeah. So we ate, got back on the road, drove through crazy thunderstorms. And so while we were at the restaurant, I pulled up this hotel that we're staying at, and I'm like, okay, I know where I'm staying. I was like, Mark, where are you staying? He's like, this hotel. And it was the same hotel. And I said, we need to change the verbiage because it's not a hotel, it's a motel.
It was definitely a motel.
And he was like, oh, someone's getting fired.
Yeah.
And it was not bad. It's a place we saw when we did Don't Tell.
Yeah, I mean, it was
okay.
it was fairly nice. The beds were the beds left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, mostly back support.
And I don't know if you noticed, but I could use all the support that I could get my hands on.
So we chilled for a bit. Then we all drove to the venue, Pensacola Sanger, beautiful place,
Crazy.
huge, fully sold out. I can say I did a fully sold out theater, almost 1,700 people.
Crazy.
We got there, chilled, and then proceeded to do the hottest freaking show I have ever done.
Surely number one for me.
You slaughtered so hard.
Yeah.
You got pops on stuff that just mentioning things.
Yeah.
That was
I almost felt bad too, but I knew you were gonna do well.
I was kind of
anyway.
worried.
I knew you were gonna ride that wave.
And
But
then
when I was getting off, I was like, well, if there's any time to bury someone, it's now.
Yeah, that's fine. I would have took that 20 minutes in stride, and then I went up, and it was a banger fest. I kept saying, "Roll Tide."
Yeah.
I was like, "My dad died at here and this other town," and there was no wrong you can do.
No, I felt that too, man. They hit on everything.
They hit hard. I heard snorters. I heard wheezers.
Applause breaks. I mean, crazy, dude. Things that I don't even, there was literal parts of my jokes that are not meant to get laughs that were getting like loud pops. And I was like, what is happening tonight? It was incredible.
I've never done cocaine, but I assume it's close. Or heroin. I can assume like just finishing that and walking off.
Just that high.
Yeah. And almost forgot to introduce Mark. I was like, thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I'm JP later.
Yeah, you think you're coming out. You're
leave.
And then brought up Mark, and man, that was a hot show.
I do regret one thing that I said that was kind of stupid, but it's like, I can't help myself sometimes. Whenever I'm bringing somebody on or I'm ending a set and I'm not just getting off, sometimes that gap between my introduction and the last thing I say with my set, I want to fill it, so I just go, are you guys ready for a comedy show?
I do that all the time.
As though what I had just done was not a part of the show. Yeah. It made me feel so fucking stupid.
I do it all the time.
Then I got the tape back you sent, and it ends with that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, you can cut it off. No one has to see it again.
I know. I did. It's gone.
So Mark did it. Killer. He did over an hour. Did like an hour and 4 minutes. He had all the new stuff, the riffing, because it was the Trump assassination that day.
He had 4 jokes.
Yeah, 4 jokes.
So the assassination happened. Like between the sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. The attempted assassination happened between the time that we dropped off Mark at the hotel and met up 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
And when we met up, he was like, I got 4 jokes.
Yep. his tweet went crazy viral. It was great. The Stormy Daniels, one in the face. So we finished that. We had to do the meet and greet. So he's meeting all these people, and then the tour manager's like, y'all go over there, stand with your stickers and meet people. And then we gave out tons of stickers. We took pictures. People wanted pictures with us. Weird. Yeah.
I think it was even you that had sparked that idea, because last time we opened for Mark in Shreveport, we were standing there after his meet and greet, and everyone was shaking our hands, and sometimes people would want to stop and talk to us, but we were also like, man, it'd be nice to just dish out some stickers right here.
Tyler's got his own stickers. I got mine. We got the podcast stickers.
Yeah.
Throwing them out, which I got to make more.
I brought them, and the stage manager saw my stickers, and he goes, do you want to put these at the merch booth and sell them? And I was like, no, that's cool of you to ask, but no, I'm thinking about just giving them out to people after the meet and greet. Yeah. And that was what was in my head. And he was like, oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And it was great. It looked like just about everybody who stopped and talked to Mark also stopped to talk to us.
Yeah, no one walked by. It was crazy.
Yeah. It's like people are... they're like gambling on whether or not we're going to be famous one day, so they got pictures with us.
Spoiler alert. I don't know.
Yeah. Lafayette famous, maybe. Not even, honestly.
So that was crazy. And then we go backstage and the green room, and we eat, and we're chilling, and we made. So it was really cool because one of the girls that worked there, who was like for the venue, her husband was there, and they're like, do you want to come to our bar? And we're like, we can give you, we owned 3 bars all together, and we can give you a private table. And we're like, sure. And we're all excited, making plans. And I went, Mark, you still got to do the podcast? And he was like, oh, no. So we had to drop him off, do a podcast. And we're like, we're just going to go. So we went back to the hotel, parked, walked down the street, grabbed some cigars, and then went there. And then the guy gave us a tour. And then when we went in the back, it was drink pandemonium, shots.
And people bought us drinks on the way through the tour.
Yeah, on the tour.
That was
we
crazy.
got drinks.
Yeah.
And then we go into the little the classy bar, which was beautiful, great.
Yeah, it almost felt like a piano bar.
Yeah, but
like there was a
I couldn't tell if that singer had if he was a pianist or a vaginist.
there was a singer that was playing very low music. It was like super mid-tempo, chill stuff.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was like covers in a slower, softer
a sexy way.
Yeah,
like sexy Pantera. You know,
it wasn't sexy Pantera, but it was close. It was like sexy Oasis.
And these Perfect Plane Brewing. I forget what the bar we were sitting next to it was called, but that whole thing, Perfect Plane, downtown Pensacola, and they just took care of us. The Well, yes, great. Took care of us, beautiful drinks, got introduced to tiny beers, which is liqueur
Dude, shout out to Tiny
43
Beers, bro.
and heavy cream, which
Yeah.
after I finished my month of non-drinking, which I started Sunday.
I'm probably never drinking again, but I'll think about Tiny Beers for the rest of my life.
Yeah, so when I go back, they're now JP Husky beers because we're putting them in a big cup. And so after an hour or so, Mark shows up. He lived, and then it was more drinking and pandemonium. Then we smoked cigars outside. Then we go inside. Then we go to the back bar.
Yeah,
we
dude,
left
it was
that place
wild.
like 2:45.
Yeah, dude.
Got back.
Chill guys, by the way. And chill guys and gals. Everybody was so cool.
The best.
A lot of the people there were at the show. Everybody was so chill, wanted
Yeah.
to talk to us, super generous people.
It's cool. We're just standing there
yeah.
smoking. People walk by on the sidewalk
Yeah.
like, it's you guys. And we're like, yeah.
They love comedy too.
Yeah, that's
so
the
many
beautiful
of them knew so much about comedy.
Yeah.
We talked about our favorite comics, and it was a lot of cool. Meet the good people of Pensacola.
It was one of the best nights I've had in a long time. And
Top notch, man.
From the show to the post-hang. So all those guys and gals were great. We make it back to the hotel. We crash. Wake up stupid early. Bring Mark to the airport and drove back. And then had to get back home. I got home about 2-ish. Turned around. I was back here for 4.
Yep.
I had to get everything set up. We had Brian Posehn and JT Habersat. JT will be on the one of the episodes coming up. We did a podcast with him. And then what a banger, Brian Posehn, 6:30 p.m. on a Sunday show. So good.
Yeah.
Me, JT, Brian.
Yeah, and you were clearly still hot from the weekend,
man.
because you brought it. You had some good stuff. JT, look, I've seen JT several times. I got to say, that might be my favorite set I've ever seen him do.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
because I was paying extra close attention. But, I mean, the jokes were hitting. He had me on a handful of those jokes. I was like, I like this. So I'm excited to see the next album or whatever project JT has in the future.
Yeah.
And Posehn,
Dude,
a
what a
master.
rip.
Yeah,
Dude, he
masterclass.
did over an hour, just so good. All the new stuff that I've never seen was amazing. It was all new to me from the last time he was here, because we had him in 2018. We had 2 shows.
Yeah.
And this is the very first big national show we did here, because we had to move it less than a day from a previous venue. But so good. And then we hung out. They did all the autographs. I packed up. I dropped them off at Mel's. And I was like, I am not going to eat. I need to go home. And then I went home, and that was it.
Yeah.
And here we are.
It was great, man. Made cool connections. Oh, those guys that Mark did the podcast with
Yeah,
are from
yeah.
Birmingham.
Killer.
I'm traveling through Birmingham later this summer, and they offered me a place to stay. I'm going to do their podcast. So
Yeah. So
it's gonna save me a hotel room night.
it was called Movie. Let me find it. I'll give them a shout out because really cool.
I forgot, honestly.
Oh, man, it's down here. Oh, Movie Ruiners. So Movie Ruiners on all, everything. But they've had some great comedians in there. Catherine Blandford's on there. They had Sam Tallent, a bunch of other ones. So check them out.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a cool episode when it comes out. And, but speaking of cool episode, this episode, we've got Sam Tallent.
Yeah, one of the funniest people walking on this planet.
What a good dude.
Yeah.
It was an amazing show. And him and Nathan, they have Chubby Behemoth podcast.
Yeah, and boy, are they.
Boy, this
was a heavy table.
This was a husky
Yeah, we got
podcast.
the small chairs so that we could all fit. We
Yeah.
put them pretty far apart. I felt like half my body was over here off the table.
Yeah, it looked like the evolution chart of a Ozempic commercial. It was just, somehow
We might
Sam
have
got
said that
taller.
on that podcast.
I probably so.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
still
gonna.
using it.
This will be the first time they hear it out of 2.
So just a little thing. There was an audio issue at the beginning, so by the time you watch this, hopefully I got something tweaked, but the audio is gonna get better about 15 minutes
Yeah,
in. It was
and
just
if
a
not,
goof.
it's gonna start in a weird place.
Yeah, it's gonna start just mid sentence. But that's it. Let's get into it. Sam Tallent, Nathan Lund, roll it.
Yeah, we
Do
could go
you
see
interact or
shows.
see them? No.
You
No,
can never
opening?
get booked because they didn't have
strip is
guest
so
spots. They didn't have when I was there 04 to 08 was when I started there, and there were like only a few comedy clubs, and they booked host, middle, headliner, all out of towners.
Typically LA.
no open mic night, no contest or anything. So yeah, it was that was the part that it would have been tough if I would have stayed there. But in the last like 10 years, more clubs have opened up, and so there's more opportunity for local people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I moved to Denver in 2008, and I was real lucky because that was an easier scene to start your own show, to go back and forth between like bar shows and the club, Comedy Works.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I really lucked out moving to Denver.
When's the last time you were in Las Vegas to perform?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, because now they
I haven't
got
gone back
a
a lot.
cellar there, and they
have
all these
everything.
Other,
There's a Wise Guys. Jimmy Kimmel has a
yeah.
club. Yeah, that Brad Garrett's room is really cool. I went there to see a friend perform, and I asked him if he thought he could help me get in, and I guess it was pretty tough. They don't use a lot of people or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't gone back much to try and do shows there.
Gotcha. Where are you at these days, Sam?
I live in southeastern Colorado. I live an hour and a half east of him, in a place called La Junta, Colorado. But we just bought a house in East Detroit on the 31st of May.
Oh, nice.
So we're moving to Detroit on like July 10th.
For kind of following your wife's work, or was this?
Well, so we're in La Junta right now because of her job. She wanted to do rural medicine, and she liked the hospital there. And they bent over backwards to bring her in, because they were so desperate for anyone with compassion and skills. So we've been there for 6 months, and then we were just like back. She's from Dearborn, Michigan, which is West Detroit, and we were back there. And I was like driving to the airport to fly back, and I was like, why don't we just move here? Like, we don't live in the middle. We don't live, like, with my family. We don't live in Denver. We live 3 hours from Denver. I don't see my family. I don't see my friends. I don't do stand-up in Trinidad or where I live in La Junta at all. It's, like, 2.5 hours to the airport. Like, I'm on the road a lot now because there's more opportunities. Like, why don't we move here? And she, like, looked at me and was like, do you mean it, mister? Can you promise me you mean it?
Are you just yanking my chain, Charlie?
Well, and she was like, it had to be your idea. Like, I wanted to move here, but it had to be your idea or you would have said no. And I was like, okay. Fucking
She
mind
accepted
criminal.
you,
yeah, exactly.
I wonder how long that con was going on for. Who knows?
Well, the niece now, we have a niece who's 4. It's my sister-in-law, her sister's daughter, and the niece likes me a lot now. For a while, it was pretty rocky. She didn't give a shit if I lived or died. But now she's all about me, so I'm like, yeah, like during the week I can chill with the niece, and you can get a job doing inner city medicine, which is your second pursuit if you can't do rural. So we're moving up there. I met him in like 2009, I think.
Yeah, I moved there in 2008.
Yeah, and I started doing stand-up like hard in 2008, so I probably met you like right around then. I think it was October of 2008. I met him at a weed Halloween show, and everyone was in costumes, and he had a swastika on his forehead because he was Manson.
I didn't know there was a costume contest. I didn't know there was a costume contest.
Yeah, he came from a separate event. He came right from work.
Oh boy!
And I remember he was smoking a cig out front, and he was like lit by these lights, and he had a fucking swastika and this crazy look in his eye, and I was like, "Fuck, I got to be friends with that guy."
Yeah. Before
I
he
must have
kills me.
had like handcuffs and a sweatsuit,
He had
and
a
like
sweatsuit
I didn't
on.
want to buy anything.
Yeah.
And so I looked around, and I thought, wait till they get a load of me.
Yeah. We just watched ourselves do stand-up in 2011. Was that what that was?
I think mine is from 11, and yours is from 12.
Maybe.
Something
There's
like
these
that,
old
yeah.
clips from this comedy festival called the Laugh Track Comedy Festival in Denver. And I remember his set because he used to do this bit where he would walk out shirtless and hold up his shirt, and he'd say, "Does this shirt make me look fat?" And he did it. I remember he did it. I was on the balcony watching in this theater, and the theater was like packed. And it was like probably the most amount of people I ever performed for, or anyway, that he was performing for. And I remember being in the balcony, and you can hear my laugh on the video, just like screaming. And you said you were sober as a judge and everything worked out.
I think part of your laughing, I think, is that I was pretty drunk.
And it was like 3 PM, and
Yeah,
his
yeah.
face.
I don't know if it was 3 PM.
The sun had not gone down.
You don't know
except
that.
for in your brain.
But also, you, I think, might have remembered that it was one of the first times we did a festival one of the first times that a place had free beer in the green room.
Yeah.
And so I think we all had a few more than we
course.
normally
Yeah.
would. And it was so gross. I'm almost 8 years sober, so it was so weird to watch me so drunk for the first time in a long time, because it's like, oh my God, just get to the fucking point.
Yeah.
Like everything was a lot slower
Just-
than
but
I
in that
wanted
moment-
it to be.
In that moment, you're killing it. Yeah.
I was doing well,
He
but I
was.
sounded dumb as fuck. It
Well,
was like,
he's
come
doing
on,
like
man.
a weird like combination too of like Hedberg and Stanhope. You know when you're like early in stand-up and you just sound like your heroes?
Yeah.
Well, I detected that because now he just sounds like himself on stage. But back then, whatever the fuck he was doing was like derivative and strange, but he was crushing.
It's weird how you can do well and then look back on yourself and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm doing well, but how do they like that? Like,
Yeah. Nice to feel like I've advanced like you should.
Right.
Like I didn't get stuck or whatever.
That's what I feel like every time like an open micer brings their own merch. I'm like, buddy,
Wow.
3 years you're gonna look back. Sorry, you know, like
Yeah.
it's not
if
gonna
you're
be
here
good.
in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's rare that those people stay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they all moved to New York right
Yeah,
away.
they're just trying to be famous. They're not. Those are not people who are trying to be stand-ups.
So
Selling merch, yuck.
speaking of, you mentioned Hedberg and stand up. You ever seen that old? It used to be on YouTube, may still be out there. It's a clip them at a festival, some type of theater, and it's Stanhope's really young. Hedberg is not who he became, and it's almost like a normal dude delivering his jokes. Find it on YouTube. It's
I
very.
think Stanhope has the Santa hat, right?
Oh, maybe so.
I think I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say it's shot from like one angle over here, but yeah, it's kind of mind blowing because I've seen Hedberg like twice live, and just see like, oh, that's just a normal dude doing, which is like and it was like the baby version of his jokes. It wasn't what they are now.
I saw him twice dead.
Oh,
I went to his grave.
how's he doing?
Was he funny?
He looks great.
He killed it.
Looks like frog legs.
Oh no.
Mitch croaking. Hello. Let's go to a commercial.
Yeah, we just saw Doug not too long ago. He came through
Yeah.
where Sam
No,
lives. And
I
we got
listened to the
spend
podcast,
some
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see him. We talked about Mitch a little bit because I got to see him on that tour with Lewis Black and Dave Attell.
yeah.
And that was the only time I saw him live. And I had started doing stand-up. So, and I loved him. He was my favorite.
Yeah.
So I kind of hoped I could meet him, work with him, but he died probably a year after I saw him or whatever.
Yeah.
It sucked.
I got to see him in between the first two albums at the Laugh Stop in Houston, which is where his first album was recorded.
Yeah.
And I was running. I used to run the website for Ryan Adams, the musician, you know.
Yeah.
And there was an article where Mitch Hedberg loved Ryan Adams, so like I brought like bootlegs. I had like special bootlegs, and I never got to meet him or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but I had like stuff from his website. Like he had these Christmas ornaments, and you can order all kind of shit. I had all kind of merch from him, and then. I remember the night he died was because my wife had LASIK eye surgery.
Wait, that's why he died?
Yeah. To this day, I'm like, Mitch Hedberg died so you can see better, you know, so you can read a book without glasses, you know.
You can drive at night.
Yeah. But now she's back in glasses, so all right, there we go. That was weird.
Do you want to hear? There's a funny Houston thing. You mentioned the Laugh Stop. I saw Ron White a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me that he ran into a young person who has a little bit of power in comedy, like an industry person. And this young woman told Ron White, "I think you'd do well in Houston." And Ron White said, "Yeah, no shit. I've been working in Houston for 35 years. I do an arena in Houston. Yeah, good call, Toots."
Damn. What?
She like watched his set and then stopped him and was like, "I think
Had
you'd do
notes.
well in Houston."
I could probably get you into the improv, you know?
It's crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was dying.
That's
Just
pretty
the
funny.
indignity in his voice. Yeah, no shit.
Then he hit her with a tequila bottle.
He's sober.
So did you get roped into, was the pressure on you to try to move to Austin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought I was going to move, and my wife and I had like very serious conversations, apartment hunting. But then she decided that she wanted to do rural medicine. So I think that the move, for me at least in Austin, is to be there once every 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Like the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah,
There's enough people creeping out that green room without
Yeah.
me up in there taking up space, you know?
Yeah, I saw the mothership stories, and like you were there that week or whatever, and just like, oh, okay, just
Yeah.
a couple of nights, and boom.
Yeah, and like E gets so good to me. He'll give me Sam Tallent and Friends shows whenever I go down.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And like I go down because like Tony will hit me up and ask if I can do a Kill Tony or something. But yeah, no, I'm glad the way things are going there. But living there would be like my wife would be very unhappy there.
Yeah.
And she's like paramount in my life or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one of those.
I know how it is. Yeah, I'm kind of. If I like visiting Austin,
Yeah.
Austin's a place where I like to go.
Where does your
'cause-
friend Austin live?
In Houston.
I'm inside of
Yeah.
Austin pretty regularly. If you
He tours with Ron White.
All right, I like.
Yeah, he's the bus.
Oh boy.
I'm big. It's okay.
Get him.
What's going on here? All right.
You'll
I
never
think
understand.
Austin-
It looks like you're on the same team. It's like Team Red Hats against Team Cool Hair.
Yeah.
You guys both have great hair.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
sucks.
Team 4 more years over here.
Sam's old opener.
Yeah. Oh, I opened with that at that show in
on that
2012.
video.
Yeah. 4 more years. That's my life expectancy, everyone. I was embarrassed by my set. But
Oh, it was good.
it was solid, but it was like very like.
You weren't wasted and sweaty like me.
Yeah, that's true.
But does the shirt make
You
me
got a
look
shirt
fat?
on.
I did it like 4 times. It's always funny what we remember from when we're starting out, you know? Like certain people's jokes are burned into your brain. I
Yeah.
did that joke like 3 times. I got sick of it, so I stopped.
But I
people
saw it
rem-
all 3 times.
Yeah, people
I
remember
was
it.
there. Yeah.
And they remember certain things more than you do sometimes because they heard it more. Or you were writing other stuff or whatever.
We were driving
it's
around
funny.
the other day, and we just like went word for word through our friends' sets from like 2013.
Yeah, that's always
and, like we
fun.
remember like every joke that they would tell, and then, well, I won't tell that story, but yeah, it is just strange what's burnt into your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm scared to commit to something like that too. Like the committing to the act out has always been like, but sometimes I do find that just taking that little leap, like very recently, I just started, like I have a joke about Velcro belts and I just started putting the microphone up to it to make noise.
That's
I
good.
realized that people didn't actually believe. They heard me telling my joke, but they didn't know. I knew something was missing. People didn't actually believe I had Velcro belts. But then when I prove it to them,
Yeah.
it was a game
Huge
changer
pop.
for the joke.
Huge
Yeah,
pop for sure.
aggravatingly big pop.
Yeah,
like
you can't
it
follow
sucks.
the pop.
Yeah, it sucks.
I don't know if where I first heard it. I know Brent Gill will tell comics, but like you have to be careful. If you've been telling a joke for a while, you can't deliver it bored. You can't.
Right.
You have to tell it the right way, and you because sometimes people will wonder why a set didn't go well, and it's like because you phoned in that whole thing. Like maybe you had one new joke you were excited about, but the rest you're like almost like skipping words because you're sick of it, and it's like
Right.
that's gonna come across. You know, you got to be careful with that.
That's, Pearl Jam doesn't want to play even flow every night. So,
Right.
You know, but some nights like, fuck, here we go. All right.
Yeah, especially if they're bombing and then check drop hits.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, let's give them the hits.
Everyone's like, you should go to Houston.
Maybe play Seattle. You guys would. I think you guys would sell some shirts in Seattle.
Yeah. You guys like cargo shorts? So Sam, the last special,
Yeah.
Toad's Morale,
Oh my goodness, so fun.
Thanks, man.
beautiful.
Bro.
Where, was that like? What was the plan in to shoot that? Was it a quick turnaround, or do you decide, or
Bro, it was so quick.
yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
it was intentionally quick.
It has a good feel. Like I reference it because like when we film shows here or whatever, I love a good handheld shot.
Yeah.
Like it's the rawness, and that's what that opening was so fucking good.
Thanks, man. The people, that was like the big point of contention with people who watched it, where they were like, this handheld thing is like too extreme. And I was like, I always like handheld because the movement of that camera can kind of mime the movement of a head when it laughs. So like having movement in a shot, I think most comedy specials, I think the comedy special as an art form is incredibly tired and dead.
Yeah.
And like you can't, and I don't want to ever be the guy who like puts in like I think the old, Gillis did a good job with it in Texas, in Austin, with like he had just a little bit. He came out of the gate with that like banger joke.
His
about
first one?
the
Yeah, the
one in
age of
Austin,
consent.
Yeah.
And then he does the thing where he pulls back and does the shot of Creek in the Cave from
Yeah.
outside, people in line. But I think when a special opens and it's like the marquee, it's people buying tickets, it's people being seated, it's that kind of like flared shot of the crowd via the lights. Like that's just so boring, and everyone does it. And I think that it's masturbatory to not just have your jokes in a special. So it's like I wanted it to just be like bang, 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 and then when it's over, fucking Sopranos ending, and that's the end of it.
I described it to someone as like you were going on stage and you're like, we should film this, and it's like, who's got cameras? And then bam, that's what
Yeah.
it felt like. But it was great.
Thanks,
I
man.
loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, like everything was very like meticulous in that, and people thought that I like hired people with iPhones, and it's like we made confident choices.
Yeah.
And it's like I think that I've come a long way from worrying about like right or wrong choice, as opposed to like if I'm confident in it, then that is the choice we should make. You know.
How involved are you in the final edit as far as like the shots?
I was in there.
Everything.
Yeah,
good? Yeah.
but after the first one we did, Waiting for Death to Claim Us, which was 14 shows from 3 different cameras, I kind of this time I let the editor Patrick and I let the director Zach decide like what the best angles were, and then I just went in and would like agree or disagree, or make this one longer from this angle, or let's tighten it up and go back, just because I would realize like this edit right here fucks with the punchline. Like let it linger a little bit longer after the laugh, because it looks like we're cutting just because of a laugh. Like all those little things that people do. But I'm really proud of it. And
I hear a lot of comics say that like when they go in there and they have to edit, it messes with the joke. So what messes with the joke? Is it the angle? Is it cutting away? Is it a zoom? Is it just what messes it up for you?
I think that a zoom is a really interesting thing to do if you do it very slowly. We didn't do any After Effects in it, but I do think that like if there was a shot that was like the comic and it's just slowly over the course of 3 minutes, slowly zooming in, I think that's an interesting shot. But like we only used one show for that. We did Go Bananas, and I think it was the Late Show Friday.
Maybe early Saturday. Was it early?
No,
so it might have been early.
So what it was is Late Show Friday. The first show I was like just trying to kill, you know, and I was like, it was going fast. I was going fast. And then at the second show, Lund got off, and in that little moment when he's leaving the stage and I'm in the back, he's like, take your time. They're great. Go slow.
Slow down a little bit.
Slow down a little bit.
Because they were laughing real hard at everything.
Yeah.
And I think we both have that thought of like, step on the gas.
Right.
And you hear from successful comics that you have to slow down, but it always feels weird, like masturbatory, doesn't it? To like, laugh longer.
I'm gonna take my time.
But you do kind of have to. Same thing with, like I said, if you're telling a joke bored, you have to be conscious of how you're doing it, and not everybody, or people are gonna hear every word. If you slow down a little bit, it's gonna feel more intentional. Everybody's gonna get it, laugh hard. You don't want to step on the laugh. Yeah. So you let them like laugh it out and take a breath. Yeah, I'm glad that I thought to say that to you.
No, it was. I think about that moment all the time because that was great. And then for the early show Saturday, which is the one we wound up using, you can watch my beard in that special, and it goes down incrementally because we only use one show. Yeah. And I think using one show, if you can do that, is the best way to do it. Because there's all that little shit, like when it cuts back to the comic and like the bottle has been moved, but he didn't move it in his hand. I would always get like caught up on that, and I'd be like, oh, so something didn't go correctly, or they're cutting, like, it just like took me out. The word I always use is verisimilitude, and then everyone rolls their eyes, but like...
Is that the Asian noodles?
Yes, that's right, yeah. It comes in the bowl. You can get the broth on the side and dip in.
I'm down.
Right. But no, it just means like the making something like have more like reality. And I think that the more reality you can have, and it looks like you're in a comedy club, and it looks like you're in a small room, and yes, there is rocking, and yes, there's the clinking of glasses. Like I think that all that shit makes, because comedy specials are so much worse than live comedy. Yeah. Like we're trying to put out this thing that's like, hey, here's all this shit that I've worked the hardest on over. Your first one's 10 years. That one was, 2 years. Yeah. And it's like, oh, but I'm going to make it look so much worse than the live version. And this whole thing is supposed to entice you to come into the live version. Yeah. And if you're rolling your eyes at this. And then also I was like, the first joke was that Bud Light joke. And it was just like fucking foot on the gas for 3 minutes. Just nonstop, bang, bang, bang. And it's like, if they'll watch this with their truncated, abbreviated fucking attention spans that we're fighting against, then I think I can suck them into watching the rest of it. Yeah. So that was a conscious choice.
Yeah, I'm very critical of the way specials come out.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
it just like I think last year I liked 2 specials. Your special and Nick Mullen's special.
Thanks, man. Yeah. I liked Nick's. I think he used film, which was fascinating.
It was it looked great.
Interesting.
I mean, his special looked like one of the best.
And like I think he used like fucking 8K film, or he used 8K, which isn't film, but it looks like film. Like it looks kind of like Taxi Driver. It's very New York, even though he filmed it at Comedy Works. Yeah. And I was going to film at Comedy Works the week before, but we have the same agent, and they were like, maybe don't do Comedy Works because Nick just did his there. So Go Bananas was perfect. But then I put that thing out like 3 weeks later, and then the following, like 2 weeks later, I had to be in Chicago. I had like a weekend in Chicago after the special came out. So I went to the Comedy Fort in Fort Collins like right before Christmas and did like 6 shows, all improvised.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you going to Chicago with all new stuff?
Went to Chicago with all new stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, all new stuff. And even when I got to Chicago, I might have had 20 minutes from those 6 shows that I had like a little bit of confidence in. But then obviously you improvise more and you tag the stuff. But yeah, I'll give myself a little more time between when it comes out and when I need to have another hour.
Jeez.
Because that was insane.
That was I noticed a lot in specials. you focus on the comic and like the glass and everything, I always focus on the audience and like especially if they get like a bald-headed dude right in the front and then he's not there.
He's gone.
I know. Where to go,
bro?
You know?
I know.
But you
That's
see
huge
different
for me.
people and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. And then I guess that's why people film like 2 to 4 shows. But did you ever have to do any like stop a joke, redo it, or you kind of just go with the eras or whatever?
No, and also at that point, I'd hammered the shit out of that.
Yeah.
That like 45 minutes was pretty much locked in stone.
Yeah.
So no.
The reason I asked, it's made me think. So Matthew Broussard's on the show tonight.
Right.
I was at his Comedy Central half hour, and at the end they're like, all right, give it up for Matthew Broussard, and they brought him back out and like, we need you to re-say this joke, and he's like, please act like you've never heard it before.
I know that's
and he has
tough.
to
I've seen that a
redeliver
couple
it,
times. Yeah. But if the crowd's like so excited to be at your taping, or if they have been, if they've gone to a Comedy Central taping, they're totally fine. They know they're being part of television.
Yeah.
I don't think I would. I would feel cringe to do that at Go Bananas on a Friday. But if they were like at a fucking theater and they understood what it was. Yeah. But mine was just like a camera in the back, and then 2 of my dumb buddies with, actually very competent professionals, hand holding cameras.
Very competent dumb buddies.
Yeah. They're the 2 dumbest, but they have an eye for. They have great eye for fucking camera work. So
nice.
Yeah, if you can just find people who are better at something than you and then trust them. We don't really like trust professionals anymore in any kind of like avenue in this modern age. And I think
how many people call themselves filmmakers or producers? Like you can lie and you can half-ass it. So
100%.
But if you do, like you grew up with both those guys. So
I've known both those kids. One of them since
full of
Montessori and one since 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And they both did my first special, and I was like, hey. And I did that whole thing for like, I think after editing, I think it was like less than 15K.
Damn.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the book.
I love you.
Oh.
Do you want to talk about the book?
No, well, I was going to follow up to the book.
Yeah,
and
no,
say
I mean
what's
that's
going
sweet,
on now.
but I feel like I've talked about the book so
I know
much,
you
and
yeah.
I assume these people probably have heard me talk about the book. I'm not
They
trying to
laughed
be rude.
as soon as he said
Yeah,
book, they all laughed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about like the follow up. So that was it existed. It
Running
was
the
great.
Light, it's still available. I'm
Yes.
very proud of it, but I don't want to bore anyone.
I wasn't going,
No,
but
sorry.
I was getting to what are you working on now? So
two different novels I'm working on. One's about a hitman in Paris, and the other one's about like if I never left my small town and experienced like tragic heartbreak earlier in my life. And I'm kind of more fired up about the hitman book. It's more fun to write, but the other one is like more near and dear to me, I guess. And then I want to write another book about a hardcore wrestler.
Oh,
A hardcore guy who hurts himself here and like has his last grasp.
Lafayette?
It could be Lafayette. It's probably fucking Iberville. He's probably working like a hot sauce fucking rodeo down there.
He slipped on Buddha. And then,
Yeah. But he has to go to Japan to do more deathmatch.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then he falls in love with sumo.
A white luchador, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh, I
exactly.
love this. This is great.
Because I just feel like if I write a book about Paris, I have to like go to Paris for 3 months to get it down.
Damn.
I know. And if I write a book about Tokyo, I'm gonna have to go live in Sumo City for a little while.
Man.
Yeah.
So no more book talk.
No, I'm sorry, dude. People have commented on stuff and been like, "Oh, he's talking about his book again."
Yeah.
Well, we only
Great.
have 83 listeners, and they
Yeah.
probably don't
I
know who
wasn't-
you are.
I
That's,
wasn't-
that's fair. That's fair.
I wasn't going to focus on that. I was going to the next part. But
Yeah.
So
Billy Ray Schaefer was a comic who had it all.
Billy
We
Ray
just read it,
Schaefer
yeah.
stepped off the plane in Amarillo, Texas, with $2,200 stuck down the leg of his ostrich string cowboy boot. That's the opening sentence.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
all right, where was I going after this? Because I got messed up. So what's next? Like you just hitting the road a lot?
I got the travel show Wide
Yeah.
World, which I'm very excited about.
Are you and Ari fighting because he has his?
I mean, he's doing just like a travel memoir
Yeah.
for an
Yeah.
hour,
Yeah.
and I'm like going to the place and
Nice.
walking around and sweating.
Are you doing anything while you're in New Orleans?
No, we talked about it when we went over to Best Stop. I was like, I would love to do like a Swamp People episode of Wide World with like Lane and
Yeah.
have him take us around like where he grew up. But New Orleans for sure has been gored by travel cinematography.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be tough to do anything interesting there.
Sean Patton just shot something too.
I mean, everyone has shot something. It's like, oh, do you want to show people in the rest of the world something valuable about America? New Orleans is a fucking lock.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's show him the real New Orleans.
Yeah.
Nobody's done that yet.
Everyone's afraid to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
We're
we
going to have Andrew Polk be our tour guide through the fucking 9th Ward? No way.
just show you places where they have vegan pizza. He's like,
Yeah, I can't have it. There's gluten.
my tummy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew. We ate Mexican a couple of weeks ago together.
Yeah,
so.
he sends his love.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, no, the travel show's exciting. Wide World, it's on YouTube, and then like right now, there's like this like confluence of like potential opportunities that I'm very excited about. But I don't want to speak anything to them because they probably won't happen, and then I'll feel like a fool.
And then it'll be our fault.
Yeah.
No, it'll be.
Sam's dying down here.
It's your fault, Squiggy. All right, you put that juju on me. That gree-gree. You know about the
That's it.
gree-gree?
I do know about
It's
it.
spelled
I'm
Grizz
from here.
Grizz. Yeah. So that's y'all's gree-gree?
Yeah, we call it.
That's like
Obamacare. No. Sorry, this got a little racist.
He's trying down there.
But we're on the road. I mean,
Yeah.
the road's important. I have momentum. People are coming to the shows. I
Yeah.
get to bring Lund with me. The podcast, Chubby Behemoth, is like doing well. Like, there's a lot of things paying off right now, and it feels good.
It's
Yeah.
inspiring
Congrats.
to me because as I'm a comic who looks at what you do as the goal.
Oh, that's
I look at what you do as like, oh, he didn't have to go to LA
Yeah.
or New York or feel pressure to go to Austin
Yeah.
or anything like that. He got to just work hard and, you know, you got to do it. You got to get out there.
You do.
But, you know,
But,
there's
like,
a path, right?
Stand-up was always the juice for me. Everything else seemed like a waste of fucking time,
I'm the same way.
which was wrong. Like, I think we do need to worry about web
No.
content. We do need to worry about building our YouTubes and like all your social media. But all that shit's like stupid to me because I'd rather just like create cool things with. I'm big on collaborating right now. I never collaborated before, but now with like Wide World and Chubby Behemoth, like, and we'll see a couple other things. Like, I'm really stoked on learning how to do things in groups of people
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
because I want to learn how to make a movie and I want to learn how to make
You
television.
can't do that by yourself.
Really can't.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to trust people who know their whole thing isn't stand up, it's film.
Right.
Or,
And then depend on the same people too, which is
yeah, trust
Right.
Yeah.
But you work together, you
You have a
don't.
similar aesthetic, hopefully.
Yeah.
yeah.
Would you have stuck out stand-up had you known that you were going to have to become a social media expert, a video editor? Would that have, if they were like, hey, you're also going to have to do all this to be successful?
Well, everyone told me that, and then
From the beginning?
I kept
Oh, you just-
I just kept doing it. So I think to answer your question, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
for
interesting.
sure.
Yeah. I do think that some people probably are just like, man, I didn't want to have to do this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just recently begrudgingly started building different socials,
Right.
And because it almost felt fruitless for a while, but then even like the smallest little bit of gains are like, all right, I see it now.
Yeah.
I see
For
the-
me, I focus on the business too much, like Lafayette Comedy, bringing in shows, all these shows, and it was like my stuff was always on the side, and now
Right.
it's like once me and Tyler started, especially with this, it's like, it's like
Yeah.
great, cool. I get to focus on stuff. I tend to take more out of town shows, but now I'm like, you got the little extra stuff, you know.
Well, I told him in the car though. I was like, "Yeah, Jason rules," and like he's one of those dudes in the scene. Like the scene would not exist if it weren't for you. Like there wouldn't be shows here. So like as a comic who is on the road, like I'm super grateful for guys like you who have been selfless in that way of being like, I'm going to worry about my show, about Lafayette Comedy, and then you figure it out. You make connections. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
not completely altruistic. You line your pockets.
Yeah, one day you'll be funny. So
Yeah, that'll be good too.
Joe Crokin. All right. Well, I appreciate that. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
that,
I mean,
that was the
it's
goal.
not
Yeah.
insincere. It's the truth.
Yeah,
no matter.
yeah, I
100%.
appreciate it, and it's good when I love it when it's recognized because
Yeah.
I mean that was kind of the goal. Just to really when I started doing all this, bringing in I knew I had to bring in big comedians in order to one.
Hey, come on now.
All right, husky comedians.
just because I'm your number one guy doesn't mean you always got to take shots at me, man.
Take insulin shots at him.
Hey, should maybe do that Ozempic shots. All right.
Okay. He's on his phone.
He's stoned. No, but I knew it in order to grow the scene, not just to get people to come to the local shows to say,
Yeah.
hey, we got a local show, but also to like recruit comedians. And so it's kind of like, it's just juggled. This hand feeds this hand, and then now we're to a point where it's like, great, now I can kind of step back a little bit and not have to worry about trying to have a show every weekend and
Right.
all that. So
Well, I told Polk this morning, I was like, it's just so interesting because Andrew Polk is one of the funniest people alive.
yeah, one of the first people I met in comedy, and I take it like I've always got along with him.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's because you're
some-
funny.
And some people just don't get along with certain people. I love him to death.
Well,
Always
he
have,
doesn't make
you
it
know?
easy. He's pure evil.
Yeah.
He's a wicked, foul imp.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just so weird. Like Louisiana and the Gulf states in particular, like there's not a club at all. Like maybe Stardome kind of counts, and that's really far away from here.
Yeah, that's a good chunk away. There's we just did and it's not even a brick and mortar club because now they're kind of moving. But there's like 2 new clubs that popped up in Florida, Panama City and Pensacola. So we just did one, which now they're moving. Another one's in Panama City. There's a guy who's like me doing some other things, but that's it. There's no real. Yeah, Houston's the closest.
That's my favorite spot. I like Seeker Group Riot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Houston and Austin has been my focus, hitting both of them and just keeping them in rotation, and then we'll pop over here. But it's really hard because to go to a real club, it's 3.5 hours away, and then or 5.5 hours.
Right.
And there's no true clubs here.
There's no carrot dangling in front of you guys.
Yeah. So just the road,
Right.
and a Buc-ee's at the halfway point.
It does let us, in my opinion, though, focus on the stand-up.
Sure.
Like, I'm not in a rush. I don't feel pressure to become famous. I just want to be the best me I can be at stand-up.
Our buddy Andrew Orvidal wrote a thing for his blog years ago that said, "You've already made it." And I go back to it all the time. I'll probably share it as part of like it's my 20-year thing, and this is some stuff that I've kept with me.
I gotta buy some streamers, man. 20 years? I gotta be ringside for you.
He said, like, you get caught up in comparing yourself to the greatest to ever do it, or the most successful person from where you're from, or the most successful person whose style is like yours. But it's such a waste of time and energy. You really kind of have to take what you can get, know that it's not all like completely fair meritocracy.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's not the destination, it's the journey. Because goddamn, you've run into these comics who seem miserable because they only want the end.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy that people still act like that. Everybody gets happy when they get paid because we hear all the time about how unhappy those people were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made it to the top and then they killed themselves.
Yeah.
And so you do have to have that passion and get so much out of it just from being on stage. If you like performing, then everything else, is just worth it. Like, I hate being on these fucking planes, but I love performing. I hate driving 3 hours to get on a plane, but I love performing. 100%. I hate being away from my wife, but I love hanging out with Sam and doing this. And if everybody could just like not worry about rent and be happy, that would be cool. But it feels like you're almost not winning when that's where you're at. And it's like, man, you are kind of winning though, because you don't hate your job every day. You're not always trying to figure out how you can get a better job or whatever, or feel stuck, ideally for very long, because you have that good set and you're like, I'm funny, so I should keep doing this, and that's all that I can control.
Tyler says
That's
it all
freeing.
the time after a show. He goes, "We're so lucky we get to do this."
Yeah,
and it's
lucky
like, because like,
grateful.
it's not the fame. It's you get to do something you love and then get off stage and know you had a good job. And it's so
And also, your friends are the funniest people alive.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Like, and then when I go on the road, I get to hang out with the funniest people in that town. Like, I never am not surrounded by really funny people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know anyone funny. And like, I know every funny person alive.
That's so
and like the
great.
funniest ones. And then people come to the show and then I'll do like merch afterward and they'll be funny.
Yeah.
Like, they get some shit in. There was this guy in Seattle, we were like, let's take a picture. And me and Lund have our arms around him, and immediately in the photo, he just goes like this. He goes like this, and I was like, what the fuck? That's great.
Like a metal lead,
Yeah, like-
singer of a metal band
right.
would be like, oh,
A skull goes here.
A skull would go here, or like an obelisk or something.
yeah, that was funny. I don't know if he was trying to be cool or funny, but it was both.
I don't know. So yeah, I'm
looking
just
for that thing to do in a picture, and that
yeah.
was something that
This one gets old, or like this
we've been
one.
doing the Jim Morrison.
Yeah, do the
Elvis.
Elvis on the toilet.
Oh, it's so good.
You can only do this so many times before you're like, I'm not mad about anything at all.
Yeah. I've seen
about
Limp
this
Bizkit
one?
in concert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got the right hat. Well, thank you guys. Let's wrap this up. We got a wonderful show tonight. You guys missed it. if
And
you're
what's
watching,
cool
but-
that you said is like, I came here and I did that outdoor spot at the food thing. and there was just people there, and I was so happy, and I signed books afterward, and people had my book. And then last time we were here, we came to this room, the big room that I always wanted to be in, and we sold, I don't know, 80 tickets or whatever, and tonight, like, we've sold more than that, and, like, it just feels good to see actual growth, you know? And it's just because, like, when people came to those first shows I would do at fucking Siberia in New Orleans, I had to kill for 7 people. And then next time there's 14, and then there's 30, and then there's 6. Like, that whole thing really matters a lot to me. And if we would have came here tonight and there would have been less ticket sales, I would have used the hotel room. And I would have been my last hotel room ever.
I need a tub to bleed out in.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Yeah. But it all feels good, man.
No, man. You have the very punk rock approach, like from bands, because I did bands before music, and it's like you recycle, you keep going until it builds, and if it does it, then because
I used to play punk rock shows for 10 kids in a basement in West Virginia. And I remember the other bands we kind of like, oh, fuck. And they're already like mad that they're not going to have any money and they're trying to figure out where they're going to stay. And like we would play our hearts out for those kids. Yeah. And they would stand there afraid of us, but respecting it and kind of trying to figure out why they enjoy it. And I always had that with comedy too, where it's like you give them Black Flag. It's not their fault that no one showed up to see Black Flag. You give them Black Flag. And that's always been like the main important thing to me is give them a show no matter how many people's there.
Yeah. Because if you want to come back, the small room at Skankfest, and you made it your fucking home.
Oh, thanks, man.
It was incredible. You didn't even step on the stage. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, that was the one where I was trying to bomb.
Yeah, they called him on stage. He didn't even go on stage. He grabbed the mic from off the stage and stood in front of the stage and declared that he was attempting to bomb.
Yeah,
and did not. He could not.
Yeah. And then it was funny at the end of that because like I was like, who am I supposed to bring on? It's Nick Mullen, right? And everyone was like, oh. But it wasn't. It was Toby McMullen. So I felt bad about what I did to Toby. Not only did I crush from the floor, I told everyone Nick Mullen was coming
Who's up next? Rodney Dangerfield?
Yeah. No respect. That's like when on the Bert Kreischer tour, Cypher Sounds brought out... he's like, Nick coming out. It's fucking Tom Segura, and Shane Torres comes out. He's like, fuck you, I'm like, beautiful. Yeah. All right, well, let's wrap this up. Tell us where we can find y'all and all that.
Chubby Behemoth, man. Chubby Behemoth podcast. It's on all the podcast stuff. If you watch this and you're like, I'm interested in these people, just subscribe to my YouTube. It's a very nice thing you can do because we're putting out Wide World, my travel show, and Lund's in it. And I'm really proud of it. And then SamTallent.com.
Another episode soon. New episode soon.
Oh yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I'll link it all in the notes.
Thank you guys so much.
Well, thanks for having us, man. I like these kind of pods where you're allowed to just like be sincere.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very earnest person, and when I get on a comedy podcast and they ask serious questions and they expect me to like answer silly, I hate it. So this is nice that we were just able to speak like people. And we were funny naturally.
Yeah.
Go.
Comics.
All right, Jesus.
Is that the end?
That's it. It is now. All right.
Comics. Wow.
Someone's Joe Rogan
Norman.
Right.
Comics.
I gave you guys a very nice button. And then comics.
Fucking chubby Tourette's over here. All right, we're leaving. And we are still here back.
Yes, man. Yes. Sam Tallent. I feel so lucky to be able to do this. This is crazy.
So if you're watching this right now, take a time. Take some time.
Take a time.
Take a time with some takes.
Take a time from the page of
time. Father time. Or your mother time.
Band.
Or they time.
Wow, this is a bad riff.
I feel like Mike Kaplan right now.
That was very that was very Michael Kaplan of you.
What is time? Listen, Andrea.
It's time. Andrea, listen.
She does it. If you're on the YouTube right now, subscribe to the Lafayette Comedy channel. We're getting there. We're closing in on the 500. We were rolling it with shorts and reels, all them you look likes and everything.
Yes.
Subscribe. Even if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything else, go to the YouTube, subscribe, turn off notifications. I don't care. Just we need the numbers. But Sam Tallent, so good. Nathan Lund,
cool guy.
Yeah, it was great because I got to go the next night and do those shows in New Orleans with him, and getting to watch Sam do that hour 3 times is bonkers, man.
Really?
And he was just on Rogan again, so
I follow Chubby Behemoth on Spotify, so that means sometimes I'll wake up and just Chubby Behemoth will be playing because I fall asleep listening to podcasts. So I'm just used to hearing those guys all the time. It's pretty funny.
Thanks to our sponsor, Ounce of Hope Aquaponic Cannabis Company. Ounce of Hope provides high-quality CBD and Delta-8 through an advanced aquaponics system for the utmost in quality products. Check them out at ounceofhope.com.
Oh, that's the sound of something hacking away.
Oh. It's not Hacky's bird. It's
Hackeysburg. I like that. Hey, Hacky Sack.
It's not Gene Hackman. Or Hugh Hackman.
Hugh Hackman. That's
okay. It's Hack Watch.
Jack
I don't know why I keep pointing there. That's fine. Hack Watch.
There's nothing there.
No one can see it. Yeah, great.
Yeah, there's no camera there.
It's just my kids crying. All right. Here we go.
First.
I'll go first. I'll go first on this one. My hack watch this week is don't threaten your local comedy scene or your comedians because you're booking shows that are not doing well. So, like, sometimes I see people like, hey, we booked this show. If you don't come to it, I'm not going to be able to book anyone else, or there may not be, I'm going to take my ball and go home. There's not any other shows. Like,
oh, yeah, just putting the blame in the wrong place, you mean?
Yeah. So, like, as a response, like, if y'all want to get booked, we got to make this show work, and then I could book more local comedians, or they're going to take the show away. It's just like, don't do that. Yeah.
There's a word for that. I don't know it, though, for acting like that.
Hacky.
We'll take it.
I mean, look, if you're watching this now, so this is coming out, we just lost our open mic. Got the text today that the Legends mic, the Legends Pub mic is gone. Whatever else they got to do in there. I have no idea.
A heroin overdose?
I didn't even ask. I got the text and I was like, okay, that's it. We can't move it to the other night or every other week. So it was like, that's fine. Sometimes it needs to die. So that's fine. But I'm not going to go back in the local group chat and be like, y'all didn't make this. It's not that. There's so many other factors in there. But stop threatening your local scene. If you book someone that doesn't do well, learn from it. I mean, one of the biggest shows I lost on the first year, I booked someone. I lost, I would say probably like $600 on that show.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. And it was like, well, look at who you're booking, and kind of figure out and make it work. And there's going to be some that are great. You don't expect. There's going to be some shows that should have done well and they didn't. Great. That's just how it goes. But don't put it back on your local comedians that your show isn't selling well or isn't working.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that the best takeaway from that is just make sure that we're all kind of taking responsibility for our own shit, because I'm definitely guilty of sometimes putting the blame in the wrong place, but, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this just makes sense, man. You gotta make sure that... I think people respect that more too. Like when people see a more honest approach in situations like that, it yields better effects.
Yeah.
This really just transcends booking too. I mean, this is the same type of attitude needs to be taken just as a comedian, as a professional.
Yeah.
With your friendships.
That's a lot, and and those people also burn other bridges. So it's just don't blame them. What you got?
Womp. All right. Let's see. My hack watch is real timely because it's about timely jokes, right?
Okay.
Because there's always these things happen. I don't know if you heard recently. The assassination attempt is what I heard it was. But anyway, this is just an example because one thing that I noticed, and this is, I've seen this several times before, where like, this can definitely happen in an open mic, but the specific thing I'm thinking of is more like comedians making jokes online. And I'm not telling anybody not to. I think, as a matter of fact, the opposite. I think you should. What I'm saying is think about what the hell you're saying. Because if you don't have like something that is obviously funny or a fresh take, it looks silly to be one of 8 people making the exact same joke as a comedian. I swear to God, I'm scrolling through my news feed and I'm looking at people, some of them I respect, and they're making the exact same joke with a couple words different than like several other people. And I'm like, what?
And then it becomes hacky because it's almost too easy.
Yeah.
And that borderlines, and I think I don't know if we've mentioned this too, but there's also comedians who the meme comedians who take memes to the stage, and it's like, you know, so it goes along with that. But I know, like, every time I would scroll on someone, I just keep going. Like, I don't need to see it. It's already been
We're gonna
done.
see it at open mics too. Rest in peace, every open mic in the country for a while.
I don't do open mics on 9/11. I don't do them around Election Day. If something else happens, I don't do them. I don't want to hear it, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's some people don't have the skills to write jokes. Why do you think you got the skills to come up with something right then and there and make it magical?
Dude, you're so right too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, we might have even talked about it this weekend, but I just recently started diving into any type of territory that could be considered controversial at all with my material, and I'm 10 years in.
Yeah.
And it's because I practice what I preach. I spent 10 years telling other people, you're not funny enough to make those kind of jokes yet, and I meant it. And I meant that for myself too. And now that I have spent so much time working on the craft, I feel a lot more comfortable, and I'm introducing slowly things like that. And I'm not even saying you have to wait 10 years. I'm not even saying that. I'm just using that as an example of, like, when I say that, I do believe it. Like, you have to be funny enough to make these type of jokes, and you need to have the self-awareness to know whether you're funny enough to make these type of jokes.
Is it, like, especially if you're like a newer comedian, let's say like less than 5 years, okay? So, I mean, that's still an infancy period, you know? If you're spending that time coming up with these jokes that you're going to get to do once on stage, if you go to a mic or a show, and then what you do online, is it worth that time to spend to... Now, you may just fart it out quick, like, but... We're so connected. How many people had the same thought that you had?
Right.
You know, and so it's, you know, you look at YouTube comments. People are not comedians make those jokes. So it's just so easy. So, yeah.
It's hacky.
That must be a hack watch.
That must be it, man. Moving right along.
Time for Rex. I'm going to go with one. I really want to go with two. I'm going to go with one. This episode's rec is Sam Morrill's new special on Amazon called "You've Changed."
I gotta see it. I'm behind. Tell me about it.
He's so good. He's got a good delivery. He's wearing a suit with like this weird colored shirt. Not a fan of that.
All right,
but all
we'll
right.
see.
Yeah, I'll write him.
I'll let you know.
We'll reshoot the special.
Yeah.
Then let's do it again. But no, he's great. I like his style. He's got a unique style. We love him when we're seeing him in Houston.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, if you listen to him and Mark on We Might Be Drunk, or you just, you know.
Super comedy fan, too.
Yeah.
I love,
nerd,
and that's what I love about their podcast, you know, because a lot of other podcasts are kind of scared to dive into the comedy baseball stuff because the general fan doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But obviously, people like us like that shit.
Yeah, I want everything. That's why we were talking this weekend with Mark about, like, he did a thing on his Punch Up Live called Page to Stage, which is really cool because you get to see the evolution of jokes, you know. But we love that inside baseball thing, and Sam's just a straight comedy from pure as can be. So
incredible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna burn any bits. Just go watch it. Sam Morril, You've Changed on
Now tell me the
Amazon.
closer.
Huh?
No, I'm trying.
He says, "Thank you, good night."
Really?
He's like, "You ready for your next comedian?"
Yeah, that would be a funny way to end the special. I'm filming my special tonight.
Yeah.
I'm opening for David Tell.
Yeah.
I'm filming my special.
What you got?
What are we doing, Rex?
Yeah.
My recommendation is the new special by Dad Chaniels himself, Empty Nester. It is so funny.
Dude.
Man,
Which, by the way, he put
watched-
out another one a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I think he filmed like two at the same time, same weekend. Could have been the same night.
Yeah.
And he is just one of my favorites.
He's
and
prolific.
I guess he uses protection. It's prophylactic. He's very
he's snipped, I found out.
He's very prophylactic.
Through
but
this
no,
special.
he is one of my favorite comedians. One of before I even started doing comedy, I got to see him in San Francisco one time. Right, first 6 months I did comedy, went on vacation, got to see him. He's been someone I've been chasing. He's someone I would love to have here. Will that ever happen? But he is a freaking beast,
dude.
man.
He's incredible, and he's so jokey for somebody who's like He's not a storyteller. He's not a one-liner. He's somewhere in between, but he's very similar to like my style. I'm like kind of realizing. I watched a lot of his earlier stuff. It was more jokey.
Yeah.
And then he went into like some more longer storytelling bits. But this stuff is more like 2 to 3 minute stories that are just made up of a bunch of different bits. And he does so many jokes that are not even like a part of the story, that are just like jokes, and it's just so fun. And that's the kind of stuff that really keeps my attention, because dude, if you don't have a lot of jokes making me laugh, I'm not gonna stick around, or at least I'll pick up my phone and not even realize I missed.
Once I pick my phone up, I'm done.
Not even realize I missed 10 minutes of your special, man.
I can't. So the first album I listened to is called "You're the Best." It was his second album actually, and I can't go to an airport without thinking of his bit where a guy gets mad at him at the airport because he didn't know where like a certain restaurant was. He goes, "Yeah, I come to the airport. You know, I drive 30 minutes outside of town to pay for food that's marked up 62%. You know, he's like, "Yeah, let's go to either the Panda Express or the airport, and then to drive. You know, let's buy a ticket, go through security. And, you know, he's ruined airports for me.
He's great.
Yeah. All right,
Chad Daniels.
Empty
Empty Nester on Netflix.
Netflix.
Is that his first Netflix?
I think so, unless he had like a little
and like
thing.
Chad is like a great comedian. Like, I can't believe this guy's not like more well known.
And he's a true road dog. He doesn't live in a major area. He has a lake house somewhere
in Minnesota.
I'm sure they got clubs, but he just goes out on the weekends and just burn. And he's been doing it for 20 plus years.
I mean, man, that's the dream.
Yeah,
I don't need to be
to have a lake house.
I don't need to be Dave Chappelle. or
we're dying now.
Or Sam
Sam
Mallett.
Tallent?
Yeah.
Oh God, that was recommendation.
Oh God, we got dates.
We're putting a sponsor right here. All right, so this hopefully will be out on Sunday. I hope my show Thursday night's canceled. All right, so I'll do the Mirror K, the Stone versus Drunk, the Ghost Roast, and then we're out of town. All righty. I guess let's get into some dates.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start.
Go for it, bud.
When does this come out? Sunday? Yeah. Okay. Let me skip. Okay. August 1st, I will be in Arkansas, Springdale. It's going to be fun. August 2nd, Fayetteville.
It's going to be fun.
I don't know. I'm guessing.
It should be great.
It's like an enthusiastic. I'm very, very excited. It's been a long time coming.
Are you doing a little run?
Yeah. So
nice.
I'm starting on the 1st in Arkansas, and I don't come back till like the 7th or the 8th. So I'm doing Arkansas, 2 nights in Arkansas, Springdale and Fayetteville, Kansas City, Indianapolis. I'll be in Birmingham, Ocean Springs, and then coming back home. So
and then we go to.
Oh, that's right. We're going to be in Panama City that next weekend.
2 shows.
Yeah,
2 nights with
August 9th and 10th.
Who are we going with again?
The Panama Beach Club. Comedy people.
Who's traveling with us?
Oh, Josh Norm.
Josh Watts.
Oh, boo.
Anyway.
What a POS.
We're doing 2 shows with Panama City
Just
Comedy.
mentioning him, we lost viewers just now.
One of my cameras shut down. No.
Give me the red light. That'll be fun.
Cool.
That's all I got, man. TheTylerA.com. All my tickets, everything there. Cool.
All right. So when this comes out, that Friday, the 26th of July, we got Amir K. He is one of Theo Vaughn's features, tours all over. He's been on Mad TV, Comedy Central, HBO, MTV. The next night, we got old Louis J. Gomez here. Right. Legions of Skanks. He was just on Joe Rogan Experience, Kill Tony, Comedy Central.
Never heard of him.
He runs Gas Digital. That will be on the 27th. The next week, we got Stone versus Drunk here, August 2nd. August 3rd, we're doing Ghost Roast. That's going to be at Cite, but I'm going to be in the finals. Kenny Rogers is going to be in the finals.
Yes.
And then August 8th, we've got Trip Sitter, old Joey Z from the Glow Show from
right.
Austin. It's coming through with a new type of weird story interactive show.
What day is that?
That's going to be on Thursday, August 8th.
Oh.
You should be able to make it because we don't have... Oh, no, you'll be gone.
No, I'm...
Oh, you're back. Yeah. But we don't have a open mic anymore, so we'll all be here. Some new announcements. September 5th, we got Ian Bagg. September 14th.
Yo, I've heard Ian Bagg is one of the greatest crowd work comedians of all time. So if you like crowd work, you don't want to miss this one.
Yeah. September 14th, we got You Look Like, and the night before, we'll be in Houston doing that. October 4th, Dan St. Germain. October 10th, Dolce Sloan. October 18th, we got the Kill Tony Golden Ticket winners, Rick Diaz, Heath Cords, and Enrique Chacon. October 25th, Wait What is coming back, the comedy drinking game. November 23rd, we got Anthony DeVito. And then December 5th, we got Zach Reinhardt coming back, which I'm very excited. And I've got like 3 other shows that are going to drop, hopefully when this episode comes out. So check everything out, LafayetteComedy.com. At Lafayette Comedy on all the social media. Again, subscribe to that YouTube channel. And then I am at the JP Leonard on all the social medias.
Yep. That's it, man.
We're wore out, man.
Yeah. But I could go some more.
We're done.
I could skeet.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
We're dying down here. Roll it.
Want to give a big shout out and thanks to our sponsor, Gator Custom Graphics. They are a local full-service sign shop specializing in banners, wide format printing, and vehicle graphics. From your business card to your storefront, Gator has your sign and printing needs covered. Check them out at GatorCustomGraphics.com.